Эвакуация бесплатно до Днепра. Сейчас. Эвакуация бесплатно до Днепра. Сейчас. We came up here on our first evacuation in this area, and just as we came up, an aerial bomb hit the 5-storey block and absolutely took it out of action. There was at least one person trapped right on the inside, got crushed. They called the MCS, they called the emergency services, and they're like, "You're in that Bakhmutka." Sorry, nothing goes there. Ambulances don't go there, fire service doesn't go there, soldiers fight, they don't help, they have no time. So this is real no man's land. You live up here, you're on your own. Well, hopefully not completely on your own. Some elite volunteer will turn up with a car and take you out.
I first met Dave Young in March this year, when the war seemed very new, in the eastern city of Slovyansk. We were introduced by a Ukrainian purely on account of our shared nationality. Dave told me that he'd just begun work rescuing Ukrainians from the war zone, and I asked him if I could come along.
Well, the days when we first started the work was stupidly long because we were doing the runs into Severodonetsk and Lysychansk. Then they kind of levelled out not too bad, but now we're doing combined runs of aid and evacuations, and also the people can be without links and they don't have phone links. You have to go and find them in cellars, and you need 4 or 5 hours to get there and the same back.
The city of Bakhmut in Ukraine's eastern Donbass region has been the focus of heavy fighting since August, when Russian troops first started massing to try and capture it from Ukrainian forces. Artillery duels are fought daily. Once 70,000 people used to live in the city. Now less than 2,000 remain, most of them on the West Bank. The 2 main bridges across the Bakhmut River have both been blown down, and civilians wishing to cross from one side of the city to another must either use a haphazard pontoon bridge, which is often exposed to shell fire, or walk across a single pipe connecting both sides of the city.
The level's gone down. This was completely flooded and everyone was only doing the gas pipe the other day, and it was like that high on the gas pipe. But now it's gone down a bit, thankfully. That's permanently on fire. Every time I come to the bridge, that's on fire down there.
Dave, do you find you've got used to taking risk and being exposed to danger, or do you find it cumulatively a bit more difficult?
Unfortunately, I think I'm acclimatising to it too much. I was having some serious issues entering into the hot zones before, but I'm not too sure whether have they calmed down a little bit, or am I just getting completely numb to it? Now we're turning off for Solidar. If you go a little bit further up, you've got Station Sol, which is also part of Solidar, but like another separate region with separate roads in. They took some incoming along here. Fuck. That's the last 2 people that got fucking shelled out here maybe 3 weeks ago. So I got to pick up her belongings, take them to the relatives in Pavlograd.
Зверюкам. Вот этим.
Пожалуйста. Okay. Where are they? We'll start off at the bottom.
7.
Давай, на машине. Помогите мне, окей? Еще 2. It just goes wild here all the time. You're right on the edge of it. And it sometimes spills a bit backwards towards here. We're on the edge of my comfort zone. So это налево и потом как?
Да, через мост.
Через мост.
Да.
Сколько метров мне нужно такой?
Ну, метров, с полкилометра.
Полкилометра, да?
Карта, ну,
Карта есть.
Google.
Да.
Топ. Ага. Гагарина.
You said there were some people along here at the village, but we'll just call in. Can't find them soon, we'll back and get out of here because this is fucking horrible. Ребята! Ребята! Если вам нужно гуманитарная помощь, давай сейчас! Быстро! There's been aid in the area in the last few days, so they're not starving. It's not ideal, but you can only do so much on a certain day. And also live to tell the tale. Здравствуйте, это Соборная тут.
Ну там дороги нет, проезда нет там.
So this is Saborna, but we obviously get blocked off completely. Then we can return out by the broken bridge. So you're just doing a big loop back into the danger zones.
Dave has evacuated more than 800 Ukrainians since he began his rescue work. And now, at the end of a day delivering aid to a hazardous area, he gets a request to evacuate a 20-year-old from the west bank of Bakhmut.
Вот так.
Там его встретят, есть куда ему, где жить. Надеемся, с работой у него получится. Хоть один будет в безопасности.
Dave was neither an ex-soldier nor an experienced aid worker, so I was really curious to know how he got into this line of work.
I had a little workshop in Kiev where I was making artistic kind of lamps out of fractured glass, LEDs, controllers and Ukrainian oak and selling them online. Well, the Russian invasion happened, and all the way up to the Russian invasion I was in complete denial. And there was all sorts of attempts when they first hit the city properly and they were handing out guns, even on the afternoon, I thought, should I go and get a gun, should I go and get a gun? I'm like, you're going to get killed. While I'm leafing through all the news and everything, I find a page advertising for Kiev drivers, come and do evacuation on Dnipro. So I rang them up and they're like, it's simple, you get in your car tomorrow morning, you come to Dnipro and we'll find you somewhere to live temporarily, and the next morning you'll get your instructions and they'll be on your mobile phone and off you go. If people leave, if you run away, you know, okay, you've got to look after your own safety, blah, blah, blah. But this is the Russians. They have no right to be here. They have no right to do anything. I'm not going to run away from these bastards.
Each day, Dave's work in Bakhmut usually began at a warehouse on the west bank of the city, where he picked up aid to deliver to deprived areas. Sometimes he found that the packages he had to drop off consisted of dog food to give to people living underground, desperate to feed their animals.
We provide hotspot A to B. So
They tell me at short notice, can you take us to Bakhmutka? No one else seems to be driving anything else in there. So yeah, if we're going to go and do evacuations, we're trying to make it a double trip where get the aid or the food in and get the people out on the way out. Bakhmutka is the region beyond the river. It's the greyest zone. It's on or by Bakhmut, so it's the area across the river, up the hill towards the Russians.
There was only one way for Dave to deliver aid to the east bank of the city, and that was to drive across a haphazard pontoon bridge crossing the Bakhmut River. On this eastern bank of Bakhmut, Bakhmutka, only a few hundred people remained, living amongst the ruins with the Russian forces pressing in close. After Dave had done his delivery of dog food onto the eastern bank, he got a request from an elderly lady to evacuate her friend, stranded alone in a basement in a shelled street.
Evacuacja, Maria! Я был на эвакуации. Другое, это Галина из сказал, нужно, Мария сейчас с ней. Не спеши, все хорошо. Вам нужно помочь или нет? Только такой или еще? Дай мне такой, да? Есть еще? Итак. Осторожно, я могу помогать, хорошо?
Я вроде...
Окей. Вроде.
Ой, Боже.
Боже мой, ничего страшного.
Да. Я грохнула, так я аж перевернулась.
Окей.
Перевернулась тут. Все, слава тебе, Господи, на волю вылезла.
Выходьте, Лиза, выходьте. Ладно, пока.
Сереженька,
Счастливо. Пока. Иринична, здоровечка вам, Клод. Приезжайте назад. Только, пожалуйста, ее не в дом престарелых. Она еще при своем уме, только не в дом престарелых. Куда-нибудь там тот, или в пансионат какой-нибудь, куда-нибудь. Но только не в дом престарелых, потому что она еще при своем уме, она еще тот соображает.
Я хочу вернуться, я побуду,
да.
вернусь домой.
Может быть, тогда, может, весна, да.
Это надо было под бордюр вот сюда подъезжать. Ну ладно,
A couple of days after Dave rescued Maria, we went to go and find her in a transit shelter in the city of Dnipro. She was waiting there for relatives to come forward and collect her, but no one had turned up.
Родилась я в России, родилась. И там 12 лет пожили мы с мамой и переехали сюда. И все время здесь, в Бахмуте, на одном месте. Все. Ну, месяца 4. А то так же перебежкою, то выскочила там до соседа, погрелась, у него печка такая ж, комнатушки там. Погреюсь, и опять в подвал, и опять невозможно было. И я хочу вернуться, да только домой.
Later, she was moved alone to an old people's home outside Lviv, 800 miles west of any landmark that would have been familiar to her.
Isfahan's been hit properly twice. The nice redecoration of the internals is all in one moment, all in a massive attack near Lysychansk. I went off and picked up 2 pensioners, did my evacuations across the town, which a lot of them refused. They were not great leads. And it got to about 5:30 of a sunny afternoon on a Sunday. And I'm like, screw this, let's go back to Dnipro. So I'm very cautiously trying to assess what I'm going to do. And then suddenly, boom, sort of right, there's a grad, and shrapnel comes waving, it can't be seen, it comes waving its way into the vehicle, and at that moment the first bullet hole goes through the window. I'm struggling to work out what the hell has happened, but the shrapnel's gone around my glasses, on the right eye, and it's popped straight in, and it's just cut the nerve, and it's profusely bleeding. I'm like looking down on my lap, and there's just blood pouring out. I lean to the left a little bit, and I didn't realise it, but at that point, 2 more bullet holes come straight through. And as I lean down like that, they go straight through the headrest. Which I didn't realise at the time, they blow the guy's head off behind me, or go straight through his head and out the other side. And I'm like, I'm going to be dead in a very short time. And then the bullet holes start appearing down the side of the vehicle, and it's like a can opener, it's like ping, ping on the windows. And I do 15 kilometers to Bakhmut, wondering why I was born, wondering why I'm on this day, wondering how I'm going to make it right. Then I'm transferred to hospital, had my eye cut out and thrown away because it was dead, had a socket put in. I find out 3 days later the guy's been buried. And then after that, I was desperate to get back on the road. There was an internal balance that I was carrying too much blame. I really, really felt that it was my fault. On reflection, no, it's not. But I carried that with me for quite a while.
There were different reasons why people remained in Bakhmutka. Many of those who remained were very old or very poor and had nowhere else to go, or were too frightened to chance leaving. Then there were those, like Valentina, who remained in the basements beneath their homes as a symbol of defiance against the Russian invasion.
Так вот мы сейчас живем. Это месяца, наверное, 3, как мы живем. Спустились, потому что когда начали самолеты летать, начали бомбить, это что-то страшное. Вы видели, какие разрушения? Это уму непостижимо. Вот нашу Украину, богатейшую, как говорится, страну превратили в боевые действия, поле боевых действий. Вот у нас во дворе вчера разорвалась мина. Вот. Соседний дом несколько раз попало, вот и тут соседний дом. Ну, в общем, я же говорю, вчера такой обстрел был, дом вот так вот ходил. Вот. Особенно, я же говорю, когда самолет пролетит, уже вот так вот сидишь и думаешь, ну все, сейчас. Вот сейчас. А он где-то там или где-то рядышком сбросит бомбы, потом еще круг сделает. И опять прислушиваешься, думаешь, ну сейчас, вот сейчас, понимаете, очень страшно, когда этот...
The Russian shells landing on the east side of the city didn't discriminate between soldier or civilian, and unless you had a direct friend or relative there to bury you, your body may well lie, abandoned in the apartment where you lived. Indeed, just before leaving the East Bank one day, Dave received a report of the body of a lady lying in her flat. He went to examine the situation, but there was nothing he could do.
Oh, sorry, sweetheart. I don't know what she died of. Not much damage. Oh, I'm sorry, darling. What a way to go.
Not the most gracious of endings.
No.
Now stuck inside Bakhmut.
Each day, Dave engaged with those he evacuated or those to whom he delivered aid. But each day ended too with a drive, often without company, back to his hostel.
It's desperately lonely because you have intense moments of bonding, of reality, and that is like, wow, it's like plugging yourself into like 240 volts all the time. And then you stop and they're gone, they're out of your world. Or maybe they're not if they're local volunteers. And then you've got endless times on the road. And then recently, you know, I'm living on my own at first. It's like, great, I've got my space. Then you like come back and the cat goes, hello, what are we doing? And you're like, well, nothing much tonight. We'll just have a beer and have a chat. And so you have no normal contact. Other people aren't talking to you. And you just sit there and you're like, fuck. You know, maybe this great big heroic tale, blah, blah, is going on, but I'm just sitting here. There's just me and there's the road and there's those intense things, and I'm in a void.